Hello out there. Uche Onyebadi is my name, and you're welcome to Cross-Cultural Experiences, where we try to, I get my guest, and then we try to explore what my guest experienced, moving from his or her own culture to another place. And the reason or rationale for this program, as you all know, is for us to understand that our world is so complex. It is made up of so many parts, and it's our responsibility to understand what goes on at the other place and not preach or impose our wishes on other people so that we can have peace across the world. Today, my guest is JOANN. JOANN, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Right. Can you briefly introduce yourself and then let's begin to share your experience?
My name is JOANN Otaru. I live in Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian, proudly so. I'm a businesswoman. I do a lot of ELV jobs. ELV meaning extra low voltage installations and that. I am kind of adventurous, do a lot of things on the side, like biking. People don't believe that I still ride at my age, but I do ride. You
You
know?
still ride the bike?
Yeah, I still do. I still do. On my bike, you know.
All right.
So
I like the fact that you say you are very adventurous, and that's exactly, in the spirit of this forum. So you must have gone to some place. Can you share one or two of such experiences?
well, yes. Let me start with the one that actually took me by surprise. I think it was my very first time in America, several years ago, several decades ago, actually. And we, a friend of mine and myself, we were walking around. This was in Dallas, actually, and we just wanted to buy some stuff from a shop, right? We didn't know anywhere. This was our first time. Anyway, so we walked into a shop. I think it was owned by or run by Caribbean or somebody. I'm not quite sure now. So we got into the shop, looked at things. We picked a few items. We were just looking for things to munch on. And we went to the cashier to pay. And he totaled our bill and said, give us a figure. I said, okay. So I paid. And then he turns and he says, and the tax. I'm like, immediately I said, tax again? I was like, tax? The way I said it, I realized there was a cop just leaning by the side. Maybe he was just stationed there. I don't know. And the
A
guy
cup?
smiles and yeah, a cop,
Uh-huh.
maybe a metropolitan cop or something. He was just leaning there, not doing anything.
Yeah.
And the guy says, "You don't pay taxes in your country?" I said, "Of course we pay taxes, but in my country, if I walk into a shop and I buy something and I'm given a bill, the tax is calculated automatically. Nobody
Okay.
comes to you and says, here, come back and pay tax for what you bought." In my mind, I was like, so what if I didn't have enough money to pay this tax? I had looked at the things on the shelf and I'm like, okay, I can cover this. What if I didn't have money? Because I didn't know that after buying things, you paid for that separately and then tax was calculated separately for you
So,
to pay. It was a shocker. And my friend was just looking at me because she was very green. She had never been
yeah.
to America. And she was just looking at me like, I'm so bold to talk to that. I said, why not? In my
Well,
country, that's how we operate.
Nigerians
If
are known to be very bold and outspoken.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In my country, when you're given a bill and you look at the bill, you will see the tax element calculated automatically. So everything on the shelf has its tax already built in,
Built
right?
in, okay.
So, yeah. So I was very, very surprised and taken aback when I had paid my bills and then I was told to come and pay tax. That was a shocker. But I made a mental note. Okay, in some shops when you're walking, know that somebody will call you back to come and pay tax. And I
Okay.
don't know which shops, but just have it at the back of your mind. That
Well,
was it.
as they say, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly, exactly.
All right, I'm
So,
happy. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, we just paid, and when we were leaving, the cop said, "Have a nice day." I said, "You too." I'm like, I said to my friend, "Najeli for see here."
Well, you know what? That's has always been the case. But of late, you walk into some shops, you
Yeah.
know, and especially the Walmart where I live, which is very close to Dallas. Everything is calculated. So as you're scanning in, is already
Mm-hmm.
telling you how much. So you know immediately how much you're going to pay,
Exactly.
inclusive of the tax.
The tax, exactly. But this was several years back. So
Okay.
that kind of this took me by surprise. After I paid, I was now called back. Oh, the tax is X amount. I'm like, who does that? You know. So that was an experience, to remember.
Right.
Yeah.
So you learned that well, as the America of that time, there is something
Yeah.
called taxes. And then, I mean, if you were in America and you're no longer in Nigeria, then you have to behave like Americans and pay your
Oh, yeah,
taxes.
but we pay taxes in Nigeria as
Yeah,
well.
we
It's
do.
just that you don't come to a shop and a shopkeeper spells out the tax for you.
You.
No, it doesn't happen in Nigeria.
All all right. Now,
Either-
now that we know your tax experience, can we move on to the next experience you've talked about?
Oh, yeah, okay. This was one of our biking expeditions. We had ridden from Nigeria across West Africa, and we ended up in Côte d'Ivoire, right?
Wait a minute. Wait a
Beautiful.
minute. Wait a minute. You were biking
Yes,
across countries.
yes, yes, yes,
Going to
yes.
Côte d'Ivoire must have been like Benin
Four
Republic.
countries.
4 countries,
It
huh?
Benin, Togo, Ghana, then Côte d'Ivoire.
You were just biking.
Yes, on a bike. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, we do that a lot. We do West African tours,
Yeah.
we do long distance rides and all that. And so we got to Côte d'Ivoire, beautiful place. We had an event, and I remember we had a host, beautiful lady. The first day they gave us some food, we ate, regular food we ate, and then they said they were going to give us their specialty, right?
Yeah.
Their local kind of food. So I was looking forward to, having a local delicacy or something like that. And they now bring out a bowl of something that looked like rice, but it wasn't rice.
Oh,
The seeds were smaller, almost like mustard seeds, very tiny seeds. And then there was another bowl now, of soup, some sort of soup and all that.
yeah.
So with my Niger sense, with my Niger, with my Niger sense, I looked at the spread, and I just used a spoon, scooped some of the grains,
Yeah.
put it in a plate, right? And then I scooped some stew or soup or whatever I thought it was, and put
Uh-huh.
next to it. And then I got my cutlery. Incidentally, there was no fork or
Yeah.
knife, but there were spoons. So I said, okay, maybe that's all they're giving me. So I start eating it with the spoon. And I noticed that everybody was looking at me, and, because of the language difference, I
Like, who
didn't
is this?
understand what they were
Who
saying. They
is
were
this
speaking,
alien?
no, they were speaking French, and, so people were, like tithering and laughing and giggling. And I looked around, what's my own? I was just eating. I didn't even know what they were laughing or anything. I did
Okay.
it the first. We went out. So we came back in the night. The woman presented the same dish, I think the next day,
Yeah.
and I did the same thing. And this time they couldn't hold it. They all started laughing. I said, "What's funny?" They said, "You're eating it all wrong." I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
"How? Isn't this tiny grains of rice or something?" And they said, "No, that's called acheke. I think that's what it's called, acheke." I said,
Uh-huh.
"Okay. How am I supposed to eat it?" They said, "First of all, you don't eat it with a cutlery, right?
Okay.
You're supposed to grab it with your hands and meld it, crush it together into, to form what we would call eba in our own, right? You're supposed to hold it like that and really squash it up with your hand to make that, meld it together and all that, and then dip it in the soup and eat with your hands. And I felt so foolish, like, oh my goodness, how could I have? Because when they were eating with they were now showing me. Initially, I thought, why are they eating with their hands? This is rice. Why are you eating rice with your hands? They said, no, it's not rice. It's called acheke,
Oh,
so I
goodness.
learned that things might look similar, but they're definitely different. Acheke looks like a grain, but it is not. It's more like gari, our own gari. You understand? The way they make it in such a way that you have to meld it. We make our own already ready to eat.
Ready to eat, okay, right.
Your hand to now squash it together, make it into a bowl or whatever before you eat it. So that was another kind of a shock. So
well, I mean, you say you felt, I mean, but at least they didn't know. They knew you were not from there. Nobody made any effort to say, "Oh, madam, I'm sorry, this is not how we eat this." And at least on day one.
But you see, that's no. You see, that's what I said to you. There was a language barrier.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So people that could interpret were not there at the point. It was the second day that somebody now came and now said to me that, oh, they say you're doing it all wrong. Right? And then they were now showing me and speaking French, how to do it, with the person who could interpret now telling me that this is how you're supposed to do it,
Okay.
This way, that way.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Honestly speaking, after I still refused because I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't manage it. I still ate it. I said to them, everything is going in my stomach in it, right? Okay. Whether I melt it or I use a spoon or I shove it down my throat, it's all going in my stomach.
The destination is the same.
It's the same. So I did what was comfortable for me. I went ahead and I ate it with the spoon that I was using.
Okay, you remind me of here when I was in Missouri. We invited some guys. One of them was white, and we had fufu and then the soup. And this guy didn't know, and he didn't look around to find out. So he started eating the fufu just like that. No soup. My goodness. And people were saying, "My friend, you are going to die." so food culture is different. So can you imagine eating fufu, no soup? He just was swallowing the thing. We were looking at his face like, oh, wow, is this food or an assignment? Okay. Well, I really, really appreciate the fact that you found time, you made out some time to appear on this forum. And like I said, it's a learning experience for everybody. Maybe you travel to somewhere and you look at the food and you say, hey, how do you guys eat this? We know that the destination is the same, but how do you look at this? Thanks again. And for everybody watching, if you want to be part of this program, all you need to do is to email me. It is called crossculturalexperiences. Don't forget the S at the end, crossculturalexperiences@gmail.com, and then I'll get back to you. So, Joann, that's what you get when you ride bikes across nations.
Yes, you get a lot of experiences.
All right. Thanks again, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. And if I travel again or I remember another one, I'll call you. I'll send you a mail.
Yes, that will be fine. Okay. Thank you.